So let's look at EuRIS in more detail, and it's my absolute pleasure to introduce to you Peter Oudenes, whom I've also been working with for quite a while. Peter, I know you enjoy giving presentations.
I really like it.
Yeah. So I would like to invite you to tell us about EuRIS, knowing that you're from the background of electronic reporting, BICS, and what have you, and how does that fit into EuRIS? So, Peter, the next 20 minutes will be yours.
Okay, I will try it. I have only 40 slides, so I can manage that. My name is Peter Oudenes. I'm from the Netherlands, but I'm standing here in front of you on behalf of the COMEX Consortium. And that was a cooperation between 13 countries. How we come from COMEX to EuRIS. We have some ambitions. As stated already by Cos, I think 20 years ago we started with the implementation of RIS. And then we started with implementing the 4 key technologies. But we did it, everybody, by ourselves. So there were a lot of differences in the quality of services, how we implemented, etc., etc. So when you look to the objectives of COMEX, that was to develop uniform and harmonized services on our European waterways, which should lead to a better utilization of our infrastructure and to be a more attractive partner for the logistics. And this all in order to increase the efficiency of inland shipping as a transport mode. That was the beginning of the project. And we had first the intention to do that on 7 corridors, on the Danube, the Elbe, the Rhine, the Mosel, also the corridors between Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Antwerp, Brussels, and Leeds, and also by Dunkirk. That was the idea, only do it on the corridors in these 13 countries. And how we would like to achieve that? That is by means of corridor management. This was defined in Charisma. That was a follow-up project of also Kazakhstan, of his, traffic center of the future. That was, transformed in a European project. And over there we have defined what is corridor management. And it is, on the screen, it is defined as an information services among ferry authorities mutually. And with the waterway users and the related logistics partners in order to optimize the use of inland navigation in the corridors. What this means is when you have a corridor that everybody provide more or less the same services and the same quality of the services. And to be honest, that was a hell of a job in the beginning. I never know how many definitions we can have about what is the height of a bridge. Now, 13. So it was really crazy. We put a lot of work in that to have a common understanding what are the definitions. So it was not only the height of the bridge, but what is the depth of the waterway, what is a waterway, is the waterway the same as a fairway, etc., etc. We spent a lot of time on this to have a kind of common understanding about what we are talking about. Within corridor management, we make a deviation in 3 levels. The first one is all kinds of services that are relevant to enable route planning. So we supply all kinds of data with respect to our infrastructure, dynamic and statical. So where is a fairway, but also what are the waterway levels and stuff like that. The second level was about route information. Let's say in Dutch, we call it the tom-tom of the inland waterways. How many vessels are sailing on a certain stretch? What are the expected waiting times by a lock and stuff like that. And the third one is the management of logistics stakeholders, how we can provide more detailed information to them. And then, another picture, level 1, fairway information, often also called FIS. Level 2, traffic information, the actual and the predicted information. And level 3 is information sharing with the logistics stakeholders. And then we started, and a lot of people were skeptical. The question was, is this possible in 4 years? And is it possible to have a common agreement? And I must say it was tough. But with the help of our Flemish colleagues, would say, okay, you can reuse our national system. It was called, I'm lost the name now, but EuRIS, of course. we have managed it. So, more beer. So we have managed it, and we did it all? Yes, and a lot more. And we went live in September last year. And did we more? Yes, a lot more. Because this was the picture we shown before. The first intention was to implement the services only on 7 corridors. But the result was much more. Almost all European networks, rivers, are now connected in one system. We're still missing 2 countries, Poland and Switzerland, but it is foreseen that they will also join the club in the upcoming years. And you see really difference in Germany, France, and also the Sava River on the Danube has been added. And then a question that was already raised several times this day. Which data is provided? I was trying to do a copy-paste, but it was almost impossible to put everything on one slide. And the only thing how I could manage that was to make the letters very small. So I don't know whether it can be readable or not. I assume not, but we provide all kinds of information about the rivers. What is the maximum speed? What is the length? What is the width? Information about the ports and the harbors, also the locks. And then even not only how wide is a lock, but also is it open or closed. New development that was developed by Thierry van den Burgt in the Netherlands is also incorporated in EuRIS, and some other countries has copied that. And we put more and more information over there. And over there, yeah, it took a lot of discussions to reach a kind of common understanding how we can do that. But at the end, yeah, we succeed. So what is there? All public data. So that is not data that is considered as private, but all public data is freely accessible by means of a website and EPAs. So you can go to eurisportal.eu and over there you can see it on a website. But if you have an, let's say, inland access application or something else, you can also interconnect with the EPAs if you want. It contains also a lot of private data. As authorities, we collect them for a certain purpose, so we cannot put it just on the screen. This data is protected by the GDPR. So we can share it, but only after consent of the skipper. So a skipper decides who can see his data or not, and for how long. So the skipper is always in control of his own data. And with that, he has the possibility to share, for example, his ETA, the estimated time of arrival, how late he will arrive in a port. But he can also provide other information. But it is always, and that I cannot stress enough, it is always by consent of the skipper, nobody else. And then the other question is also, often you have projects, and after projects, things are come, died, fly away. But we would like to have it also up and running after this project. And therefore we have a kind of guarantee for sustainability. We have set up a European corridor management agreement, and that is, what we say, a cooperation agreement between the 13 countries that were also participating in this project. And we set a lot of rules in order to ensure the operation of EuRIS, including budget planning. So how we ensure that we have sufficient money for maintaining and improving this system. We call that a budget plan. What we also set is a lot of legal arrangements, because you can have a system, but you have also a lot of legal stuff, often related to GDPR, how we deal with data. You can process personal data, but then you need an agreement how you do that, and also if you share it with other authorities of other companies. And you should also assure that you don't have a negative disturbance in the market, that people get information where they can have a certain advantage, which is not allowed or permitted. And then, of course, the last one, I cannot say it enough, we only share it with consent of the skippers, because that is the main question that often is raised by a skipper. Can everybody see my information? The answer is very clear, no, only by consent. So what are then the open steps for the upcoming years? The first one is a little bit technical, but at the beginning of the project, we wrote a lot of documents, how this service should look like, what the functionality should be, could be. At the end, we did a lot, but not everything. So we would like to implement all these services. The other one is also, I think, raised by some people today, that was dealing with the quality of the services and the respective data. We have set a kind of service levels. What should be the minimum quality of the data? It's not everywhere the same. We will work on that on the upcoming years in order to improve that and also the availability of it. We will have also a lot of discussions with our end users in order to fine-tune the website, how they want to have it. Can it be improved, yes or no? Also, how we can share data with other transport modes, especially with the road of the rail, how we can exchange that in Opter, and also to enable, how you call it, that you can change from one to the other mode. I've lost the word. A mode shift, sorry. And also, Poland and Switzerland will participate in this cooperation. And further, we would like that there is more integration with other applications, like Inland Actors, BIX, and many more other ones. Also with port community systems, because we know how late a vessel will arrive in a port. They can have a lot of benefits with that. Recap, EuRIS is live. Over there, the URL. Please have a look. It's great. Let's be honest, this is great. It is all data available on one website from inland waterway transport. So where is that more? Which modality has that already? There's also one-stop shopping. One spot, all data is available with respect to inland shipping. We are GDPR compliant, so that means private data is only shared by consent. Accessibility by means of a website or APIs, and we have a sustainable organization to keep this system up and running. And then I have a lot of slides because people were questioning which information is over there. So that will be the rest of the 20 minutes. Two. Now we have a lot. What we have is all information about the waterways. So where are they? Where are the locks? What is the status, etc., etc. Also the operating times of the locks. So you can really plan where you can go through a lock. Some locks are 24/7, other ones are only open between 6 and 8. So if you would like to do route planning, this information is important. Also, how busy is it at some of the locks? So you can choose, what is the most optimal time to go to unlock and to be served directly. The notice to skippers, I thought it was already requested at the beginning, but all information about obstructions, ice, water levels are visualized on the screen. So if you would like to see where you can sail from A to B, you can check it over there. You can even do what they call a network impact. So you can see, is it really possible to sail from A to B? And also take into account the dimensions. What is the maximum length or width of your vessel? Then what is the actual traffic? How crowded is it on the waterways? There's only an intention that you can see how many vessels there are sailing at a certain spot on the fairway. So I do something from the Netherlands, and I believe this one is Slovakia, just as an example that it is really all over Europe. And you can go in detail. And what you see over here, all data is anonymous. So you cannot recognize which vessel is sailing where. But you have an intention, how crowded it is on the waterway. And if you have sufficient permission and the skipper give you consent, you can see a name of a vessel. I put over here demo because I was not entitled to put the real name over there. So with a little bit of photoshopping, I put demo, but the intention is over there. Also, what is the actual status of the bridges and locks? So you can see, is a bridge open or not, and a lock. It was a Dutch initiative, and it is now taken over in Belgium and in Austria. So you can see what is the current status. Also, Hydrometrica, what is the water levels all over Europe? Bird occupation, where can I lay down? Where can I wait for a moment? You can see that. And also, by means of colors, you can see how many spaces left. Full green is empty, red is occupied, and everything between give an indication when it is 10, 20, 30, 50%. So you can have a kind of indication, can I berth there, yes or no? Also, it has a route planning. a lot of other services like route planning. So you can determine your route from A to B, in this example from Rotterdam to Belgrade. So you can calculate, is it possible to sell to A to B? And what will be the duration and which characteristics of a vessel fits in this picture? So that is maybe not for the skipper, but for the shipper organizations to see, is inland transport an alternative for me, yes or no? To have a better understanding from what is the possibilities. And a follow-away, a disclaimer, because I saw an email of Martijn that we will put the information also on the website, so I thought a small disclaimer that we have a clear understanding. When you have sufficient rights, you can obtain a lot of other information. I was looking, and you can see the EuRIS voice and also the EuRIS notes. So you can see the outcome of calculations made by national systems, how you will sail from A to B, and what your ETAs and RTAs and stuff like that will be. You can also see where you are situated in a lock. So we put it now on the website, and in the past we did it also with the inland active viewers. Then the picture is brought to you on board, and then you can see where I'm positioned in a lock. So you can act on that and prepare yourself. I already showed that there was, you can see where vessels are sailing with the right permission. You can see a lot, and without you can see nothing. And I think that Marie-Claire will explain this in more detail, but you can also share your voyage and cargo information with third parties. And I blanked out the names because, again, that is not permitted, but you can then share information about your voyage, but also your cargo with other parties. That can be authorities, but can also be commercial parties, for which reason it will be. And that was the end of the presentation. So I hope I was within 20 minutes. And if there are questions, please send an email to EuRIS@RWS.
I think you, yes, please. You did an excellent job, Peter. Nick.
How is there a link, or could there be a link between the outcome of Federated Phoenix, for that matter, and the further development of EuRIS? That's the question which keeps me busy.
The answer is yes.
And the answer is?
I believe that the policymakers say yes, so they will ensure that we have sufficient money to do it. So yes.
So this could be a very important backbone. By the way, you talked about sustainability. What is the continuity until what year is the finance of EuRIS secured?
There was no real end date,
okay.
So it is ongoing, and you really want to have all partners together. So.
My last question to you, and we'll probably get back to this subject at the final discussion. You said, we could connect with road and rail. And I was wondering, where would we take the road transport? Because I'm not aware of such a system in the Netherlands for 90,000 trucks which are running around. Isn't this very unique to inland waterways to have such transparency, Nick? No? You disagree with me here? Because we hardly know anything. I'll keep the mic, if you don't mind.
From my previous life, I know that a lot of bigger transport companies, they already have software in place which keeps track of where their trucks are. How, even to that extent that they know how the drivers are driving in a safely, don't consume too much. So information is one way or another available.
I was aware of these company inside solutions, but they are not widely available on the web. Peter, I thought you wanted to say something.
I would like to add indeed. So, hello, yeah, okay. No, what Nick was saying, indeed, they are closed systems, but I think the extra force that we have with EuRIS is that we can give more insights on what the waterway authorities have on the view of the traffic. So we have log planning in place and so on. And if the authorities can combine the forces with the private organizations, then they have the perfect solution, of course. Yeah.
I think that's an excellent addition. Again, Thierry.
Yeah, but
Is there still time for a question
or
from
did
the...
you want to add something?
No, I would like
this
to add
discussion.
one thing, and that was, I think it was remarked by one of the parties today, that not all data is available. If so, when you go to the website, there is a page with contact, and in each country we have a dedicated help desk. So if you miss something, go to them and discuss it with them, because then we can see how we can help you to add data which is required in your perspective. And in Austria, that is via Donau.
So if there are complaints or wishes for additional information, go to your local help desk. Thierry.
Yeah, there are questions from Mr. Gert Daimel, so perhaps he can turn on his camera and his mic and ask the
Mr.
question.
Daimel,
himself.
please come in. This is Brussels calling.
Okay, can you see me?
Good afternoon.
Yes, you can see.
Okay, good afternoon. Yeah, it's an easy question. My question is, did you have an overview how many people, skippers, are already use this system? And if there is a need to make it more visible?
We know that, but then I will give the mic to Jan over there, because he knows that by heart. He has an estimation.
I think about 400 vessels were registered last week, but it's an estimation. I don't know the numbers by heart.
No, and also Marie-Claire in the next presentation will also give some numbers for the Danube. I keep the microphone, but I give the last question, Peter.
Yes. It's a very easy question, because you are mentioning very often the GDPR regulations. I really appreciate that. So my question is, the shipper has to give consent, but there are other people on board which have also GDPR rights. Does the whole team give the consent, or only the boss?
Only the boss, because at the end he has the papers to prove that, he belongs to the vessel. But it is really depending how you organize that on board, and I think that the skippers and his crew will determine in a group how they deal with it. But it is open for discussions always.
Again, Peter, thank you very much. You did an excellent job. I know you like doing it.